It's Julia Keller, juliakeller.co.uk, and I'm here with KK and her flatmate at the moment, Shima, and we're here to have a pretty casual conversation, because this is an interesting time right now. So the casual, as you guys know, I've been doing this series of videos about how to best survive during this time of Corona. And when I talk about how to best survive, I'm not just talking about, having the right antioxidants and looking after your lung health. I'm also talking about surviving mentally, because let's be honest, this is a really difficult time for a lot of people. It can be a very lonely, isolating time. And unless you kind of reframe the negative stuff into more positive stuff and you look for the benefits, it's very hard to see them, because on the outside, what it looks like, you're seeing a lot of people dying. You're seeing a lot of people get unwell. You're seeing your favorite restaurants are closed. You can't get your deliveries anymore. Sometimes you can't get eggs. Sometimes you can't get flour. I mean, it's a challenging time. I mean, for me, not being able to go to a cafe is already challenging.
That's big for you.
I love my cafes. Yeah, like not sitting in a restaurant, not meeting people, not having to get dressed up for anything, is like a hard, it's a hard thing. So we have to reframe. We have to find a way to look at things in a more positive way. So, you guys, if you've done any looking, if you're just using your logic, you know that mental health is very, very, very much correlated with physical health. So if you're in a good place mentally, if you're happy, if you feel good, if you're happy with your relationship, if you're happy with your friendship, if you're happy with family, you're usually going to be healthier. There's a lot of studies out there, and I'm going to share some later on with you guys about how depression, anxiety, stress affects your immunity in a way that can be very, very negative, especially if it's long-term stress, depression, anxiety, etc. Even marital issues have been linked to shorter lifespan. I mean, it's just that deep. So I want to know from you guys, what you guys do to reframe, to live positive, because I know KK is one of the most positive people I know, and she said amazing things about Shima. So I'm sure you guys have loads, and you have each other, which is really nice.
Yeah, and my daughter, my 16-year-old daughter, Ty. I guess I'll just kind of start off kicking off with one of the things, I have for years suffered with, mental health issues. So for me, routine is quite important. And I found the first few weeks of kind of the lockdown, actually I'm going into my 9th week, because I started end of February.
You started earlier.
I started earlier.
Wow.
Because the train ride into London we stop at London Bridge, my stop is London Bridge, but I go through Gatwick, and I could clearly see that there was a disconnect from what I was reading, learning about, listening to the kind of the early stages of this whole thing. So for me, I would honestly say I suffered for about a good 4 weeks with anxiety, kind of going into my own zone. I think the worst thing one can do is kind of overdo it with information. And for me,
oh God, I get and it wasn't positive in the beginning.
No, and it's still, I wouldn't say it's positive now.
No, but I mean, I'm on a number of chat sites which look to find the positive. Like, I'm all about, what I do in my work, and also like how I am as a person. I'm all about reframing the negative into the positive. It's what I do with clients. It's what I do with myself. It's what I do with my kids. It's what I do, just
well, this is funny. Well, this is funny, Julia. It's what I do. I'm a coach. I'm an executive coach.
Yeah, exactly.
Keep them focused. I'm a career coach, a life coach, and I have to keep my people like that. But it was very interesting, because it was like I was being all the way up on this high frequency and yes, positivity for them, but I was digesting too much of the negative, and it creates this kind of knock-on effect. And I have the tendency to go insular anyway. On the exterior, it appears that I'm all calm, cool, and collected, but internally I'm not. So it took me a while to kind of just say, reframe things. I was doing a lot of videos and kind of pulled back and just started kind of looking after my own.
And you're actually gonna share a positive video with us at the end.
Oh, definitely. I did
later on
a manifestation meditation for Covid-19 vaccination.
Woo-hoo! Yeah, that is like perfectly on target. So we'll have that here when we do this, when we put the interview, we'll have that there. And please share the link for that in the notes, because we will add that to the notes of these videos. But yeah, you personally and Shima personally as well. How do you stay positive?
For me, I guess what I started to realize was about self-awareness, Julia, because all of us should know ourselves so well at this stage in life, or every individual, so you will understand what works with you, what brings
but talk about the early part of your struggle, because there was an early struggle.
For me, it was, for me personally, because I know, back to KK's point, if I overwhelm myself with news, with negative, like what is going on out there, it really impacts me, because I start really, like, kind of visualizing or seeing myself being in that boat. So
well, it's scary stuff.
So that's self-awareness. So it's kind of been always a mechanism inside me. I just said myself. So at first it was that, like, fear of, it's funny, we were talking about it last night. I always had this unbelievable fear almost inside me of not being able to go out, not being able to be among people.
Needs to be around people. So for her, it was a struggle. So her struggle was
fear. It was
she needed to be with people.
Good thing that you guys, it's really nice that you actually were at the time already living with Karim, because it's like at least you have each other.
It was a blessing, you know.
And I know,
but still the fear was there, Julia. It was just so overwhelming for me. I was like, oh God, please help
me. So what was the fear? If you're going to name the fear, was it a fear of getting sick? Was it a fear of being isolated, a fear of losing your job? There's a lot of things we can be fearful
like of. Not being able to do day-to-day stuff, to be out, to have that freedom. I can go and meet friends. I can just go out.
Very sociable.
I need to be among people constantly. So for me, that was the biggest challenge, the fear. When it started the whole lockdown, was like, God, my biggest fear is actually coming into reality. I am being put in, like, as if I'm in a jail, in a prison. No matter if I've got cellmates now. Me, where mentally I saw things was like, this is jail, this is in prison. My biggest fear is coming into reality. But then I started.
There is something powerful about actually confronting your biggest fear. And realizing that, oh, okay, I can survive this. Wait a minute.
It was liberating. We were discussing that last night. That how we both came out of it at the other side. That we didn't even, like, imagine that about ourselves. That how much power every individual has got inside.
So what did you do to share with our viewers? What are some, if you can just put together one kind of thing each of, and just go back and forth. What did you do to?
For me, for me, it was a couple of things. One of the things I knew for my mental health, I had to exercise.
Okay.
I had to go out. I had to walk or run. I had to do that, like, because of the anxiety, because of all the stuff going on in my head. And those issues. It's like I needed to go out. And the more I went out and exercised and started feeling better. We got a trampoline, so like that kind of started to stabilize me. I felt like that started to stabilize my mental well-being, and then I was still having those bursts of positivities, but under the surface I was still scared. I was angry. I was in kind of loss, lose. So I think it was the exercise element
that helped.
That helped.
And it's funny. It's funny that you said that, because I know from you also that you go to exercise, and you just said before we started recording that you also went for a long walk. So you're exercising and having a long walk. And it's so funny because I'm just doing a paper on depression, and I just found one, like maybe 3 or 4 references that all have to do with going outside and doing exercise, separate studies, both of those really helping with depression, anxiety, stress, all of those things. Being outside, so it's not even the vitamin D, it's just the being in nature, especially. And exercising separately. And it's good anti-aging, absolutely. And both of us are really into
exercising in nature is really anti-aging.
And we all want to look great.
And of course, and vitamin D. I mean, vitamin D is linked everywhere with depression. If you, if you don't have enough, you can actually cause depression. And you know, the best way to get vitamin D is by going outside in the sun, which
in cold countries
at the moment
rate of like depression is higher than warmer climates countries.
Yeah, countries where it's really dark, like Norway and countries like that.
Norway,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I think, and the second thing for me was, I like to say that kind of acceptance. It's like there's this thing, kind of like, I forgot the whole saying. It's like, you know, I think it was like AA. It took my sessions before, and it was like kind of, it helped me to accept the things that I cannot change.
Yeah,
and I have to walk back on that.
Yeah,
you know? And you know, when I started really, I literally pulled out my AA card. I'm not afraid to say it. You know, that's something that helped transform me, thankfully, as well as you helping bring certain things to my attention. But it was kind of accepting that this is what it is. And then with that accepting like the differences and the love in my house. It was like, okay, like I couldn't have asked to be with a better person. You know, between my, like me and Ty and
each other a hug. You can actually hug each other too because you live together.
I know.
We love each other.
Whereas if I met you on the street, I couldn't hug you. Like, oh.
Right. So it was, for me, it was acceptance for what I could not change. I can't control these things, and to accept that love that was truly around me. And it's interesting because I personally feel like there's been a shift in the last 4 weeks. You know what I mean? And I think, I don't want to speak for you.
No, of course we will.
You know, but it's just been a
between
shift.
the two of you. You mean your friendship?
Yeah.
I
think the friendship and the house dynamic.
Yeah.
Because I'm the general.
Yeah.
I'm the general in the house.
As long as she accepts it.
And I had to kind of let things go and say, okay, you can sleep, and learning to sleep in. Kind of embrace this time because we won't get this time back.
Wow. And I'm doing the opposite. I'm actually learning how not to sleep in. Because I love my sleep, but I'm like, I have to be on a schedule because I will get nothing done. Literally nothing.
That's like me.
And I have school still. I mean, I have to study. I have to take care of the kids. I have to feed them so many meals a day. So, you know, for me, that setting myself on a schedule has changed my life.
Yeah.
Well, what about you, Shima? What couple of things did you do?
It started from that like intense, almost fear and panic state that, okay, this is truth is here. So the first kind of a step that I took, because I've got that self-awareness about myself, I distanced myself from any news, from anything that was, I almost became oblivious about anything that's happening around me. I was like, no, it's not true. It's not happening. I do not want to know, because I knew that wouldn't be healthy for this intense fear is inside me. If I started really like dwelling upon that and what was going on and me being in four walls, which was my biggest fear, that would really, really take me down the spiral, and I wouldn't be where I am now. So I decided I'm going to just distance myself from that. And like KK, I decided to create a routine just to go to the park, to be in nature. I started every day just choose a new music that would really uplift me. Some loving music, as if I was just in a loving relationship. I was just started really, really being in this fantasy world, almost that I felt that it's real. I used to like get up, not really early.
11:20.
Yeah, I started having my.
She's downstairs at 11:40.
Don't knock it. I totally get it.
So I started like choosing the night before I go to sleep a new song that was really like love related, as if a guy is just serenading me with that song. Putting that music on.
Lovely.
And go to nearby park, walk about for 2 hours, and then I decided, okay, this is helping, this is working. What else can I add that can lift me a bit better? What is it that I'm scared of? Oh, talking to people. So I started reaching out. As you know, I just moved to this new town. I don't have any friends.
She's way more friends than me in this town.
So are you serious?
Yeah. So I started reaching out to all the people that I got to know. I'm so fortunate that I've met really fantastic people.
So like in the park, you say hello, or?
You know, I started reaching out on my phone. Let's like organize a time to video call each other. Just I'm going to park at this time. And at first it was hard. People were like, no, we are at work, because some people are still working from home. I am
Yeah.
not. So,
Yeah.
but I didn't give up on it. So every day I found somebody to talk to on the phone, or just in the park from distance. Hey, how are you?
Wow, look at you.
I do that too, yeah.
Meeting friends during social distancing. This is like crazy. That's amazing. So you basically said social distancing, I'm going to do it my own way.
Yeah. I said
amazing.
It's fine, it's here, but I have to find a way to survive. So for me, that survival was almost like finding things that makes me happy, even from a scale of 0, because I knew this morning I woke up at 0. How can I make it 1? How can I make it 2?
Yeah.
I don't want to suddenly jump to 10. How can I make it 2? So I started like embracing all the, even this self-discovery.
Yeah.
What was it that I was so scared of?
Yeah.
Scary that much.
It's a powerful, I mean, it's a powerful place to like, here's my fear. I'm confronting my fear. And now I'm just going to be like, piss off fear. I'm going to do something about you.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So, and meditation. I started adding meditation before going to sleep. So one of the reasons I wake up late is that I go to bed about 3 in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
So
that's why she wakes up at 11, because she goes to bed at 3.
Yeah,
we're gonna have her read that sleep book that I'm obsessed with.
Okay, right. Yeah. I think as well is like for me, so like the difference between me and Shima is that I'm a creative as well, because you know I spent 26 years in the music business. So, and then one of the things I do love doing is making videos and editing them, and so I started getting back into that, creating playlists. I've got some meditation videos, and then another channel with my daughter.
You're gonna share. You're gonna share your meditation video.
Share that, and then created a playlist channel where my daughter Ty does the artwork to it. So it's like it's like kind of 4 weeks. It's like, okay, what creative stuff? And it's like, oh, it's just like suddenly like I'm even more alive. So the exercise keeps the mental well-being.
Yeah. So this is what I mean. Yeah, so this is like
it's nice to have the other stuff as well. So I think if anybody's listening, if they have any creative pursuits or they haven't done for a long time, like my friend Cheyenne, in the morning when I go do my walk, I'll call someone as well. We've talked before on the phone, like out or whatever. And Cheyenne, she just started taking singing lessons.
This is what I mean. This is exactly what I'm on about. So this is what I mean. Like people are constantly complaining about this time right now, like, oh, it's so hard, everything's so horrible, and I'm just like, you know what, this is a temporary time that you have right now. Take advantage of the opportunity that you have now, because there are so many opportunities. I mean, like for me, I've bonded with my kids now more than ever, because we see each other so much, and you either bond or you kill each other. So you know, I mean,
I've definitely gotten closer. Shima's, you know, only moved in November, so she's gotten closer to Ty as well. And it's just for the three of us, it's so nice to have a laugh. We'll choose to watch, you know, RuPaul's Drag Race or something, you know, some kind of show together, and just kind of have that kind of family bonding kind of vibe. And
baking,
I mean,
trying,
it's all kind of stuff.
New things.
Yeah, it's amazing.
The opportunity, if it was a normal day-to-day life, you never get this chance to like just at any time, let's go downstairs, let's
I mean,
and do something together,
have a glass of wine together.
And
it's amazing.
It's funny because my boyfriend had this theory. He's like, oh, at the end of this there are going to be so many divorces because people are going to really like, they're just going to hate being together for so long. And you know what, I actually think maybe that's true, but I actually think it can go either way. And I've seen it go either way. I have talked to friends who have said, actually, we've never been closer because we're just together, and it's like we either quarrel or we just make a way to understand each other. We have no choice. We have to get to know each other now. And like they're like, we were like ships in the night for years, and now this is an opportunity for us to really, really bond. And I have talked to people that are like, oh my God, that habit of that, you know, of his is like so irritating. I can't take it anymore. I have to get out of the house, you know, so that it can go either way. So I do think it's in here, you know, it's in here. We make the most we make it the best or the worst. We can go either way.
It's about the outlook. If you cannot change the situation, make sure that you will change your outlook to that situation.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's it. And lockdown for me, the first was panic, but then I realized it's here. I cannot change this situation.
Acceptance, right?
What can I change?
Acceptance.
My attitude is my outlook to it. It's just a burden, but I just mean that I need to jump higher. It's like a wall in front of me now. But it shouldn't stop me from achieving anything in my life or day to day. So I just need to push myself to jump higher. So I started like creating like new habits, doing new things that I never imagined that I would ever do. And I
like she never trampoline before. So
I got a trampoline too. I was not the same size as yours. I have like a really small rebounder.
Together.
Yeah, we do barbecues all the time.
This is the time to have a barbecue grill, seriously.
Yeah, it's so nice.
You have a nice garden, so you can do that.
Yeah. And then I guess I think it's kind of like what you're saying. It's like you're either gonna make it or you're not. You know what I mean? It's either as a housemates as well. It's like I have it's either it's gonna work or it's not. And I think we knew it was going to work, but I think it was, you get tested. But you're thinking, the grand scheme of things, so what? Shima puts dishes in the dishwasher. Like, I would never put them in the dishwasher. But it's okay.
You know what? I honestly think it's good practice because, I mean, like you, me, Shima, we're all divorced. We're all like, at the moment, we're kind of like live on our own. I don't know if I can live with somebody again. I mean, other than my kids, because I've gotten so used to having my own space. And you're the same boat as me because we kind of got divorced, like we've both been divorced for a while. And I don't know about you. I think you too. You've been divorced for...
recent.
Okay, recent for you. So you have a lot. And I have read a study that like the easiest time to get married again is when you're just coming out of a marriage because you're not used to that space yet.
I know.
You're used to the togetherness. Like it's hard for me to imagine sharing my home with somebody else.
Because you get your routines. You know what I mean?
Like it's different with your kids because you can kind of tell your kids the way you want it because it's like it's still your house. I can be like, it's my house. I don't care. It's still my house. But
and sometimes I have to hibernate. You know what I mean? I have to just disappear and like the whole day, like I'm up and down the stairs. If I have work and I'm, because she's on furlough, I'm the one that's working, and only just now Ty's starting back in school, and even that's kind of not as intense. And sometimes I just want to be in my space and work for hours and hours, either creating or doing work.
Yeah,
I need that, but that's real life, right?
And we respect each other in that sense. We give each other space.
It's so nice. It's just so easy.
Taking it personally, we've almost become like that. United front that we understand, we respect, support each other, we give each other love and sometimes advice. It's just like we even like point out the things, sweetie, I think you need to like do that, or she always tells me, oh, you have to finish that or do that. And we both really because we know we love each other so much and we appreciate it and we take action on it.
Amazing.
That's another blessing that has been to be in this lockdown.
It's a real sisterhood. To have it's like my daughter's age. It's like, when they're young like that, they create those strong bonds with their girlfriends, and like to have that as a middle-aged person.
I know.
Just so it's so rare. It's so
well, we had talked about if we get really old when our kids move out, just not to be alone, to like have a place together. So if we're still alone like 10 years from now, we can all move in together.
There we go.
No, come live in my house.
Wings.
All chambers.
But so I was saying it's just, it's important to pick up the phone
and
reach out to people. It's important
and even like
routines and things that make you happy.
FaceTiming people, I find, is just so nice. Like we have in our school, we have this group and we would always meet every week. We would meet for classes and now we can't see each other. And we just did a FaceTime recently with all of us, like a Zoom call with all of us. And it was so nice because we don't see each other anymore. We just text. We're on the text group. So it's a really nice thing to have, like go and reach out to friends. So for people who are on their own, who aren't as lucky and fortunate as you guys have, obviously each other, and you have your, you have Ty, I have my kids. What would your advice be for them?
You want to start?
for me, again, I will tell them just to start baby steps.
Mm-hmm.
Just to start realizing what gives you that like 1 point better feeling inside. Is it just like,
I like that. I like that.
Is it just like searching something on internet, be it as stupid as it might be, the topic or whatever you are, but remember that we are trying to go through this phase. So do not look at it as a long term. This is very temporary. So everything you create at this precise phase in your life, let's for a word, just use it as a temporary. So search something online. Just try to keep busy with friends, with internet, with music. Go out. Just even if you don't even feel right for it, trust me, if you push yourself, you get out of the door. It's just a matter of getting out of that door. The second you're out, the second the fresh air hits your face, you feel so much better for it. And just keep resisting the temptation of, oh my God, this is horrible, this is bad. No, tell yourself, no, it's okay. It's all right. It's not, okay. I mean, it's not life.
I think what makes it horrible is the unknown. If we knew that this is all going to be okay 3 months from now, then we'd be like, oh, let me just enjoy this temporary time that I'm hibernating, you know, because then we'd make the most of it. I mean, I've done a spring clean. I've got rid of stuff. I've cleaned, you know, rooms up, clean out my house all the time. So take advantage of the temporary.
It is temporary. That's the beauty of this whole lockdown. We all know that it's temporary. It's not for lifetime.
Yeah.
So,
you know, I'm going to say this though, and I want to say this. I think it's important though to be present and to acknowledge that the challenges that people are facing. Okay, we've got a backyard, we've got a big 10x8 trampoline, and we've got a bench, and we've got a barbecue, you know, but certain friends don't. And I would say, you know, and my income has been impacted quite greatly, so that it caused anxiety and have you. I think we have to acknowledge that. So a lot of people are so unfortunate, especially if you live in the city, you don't have the space. You know, so I have total compassion and sympathy for them, you know, because it is very challenging. You know, friends of ours, you know, Ken, he's in an apartment, and we had a long talk today as on my walk and everything. And I think last week I could tell he was in a state, and I said, get out and walk. He had a park near him, and he was so excited because he says, I'm going out now.
Yeah.
So
that was good advice.
And I think I think we have to look out for others.
Yeah.
See, as a coach, as you know, I'm an executive coach, and part of it is life coaching as well. And I'm asking my clients, you know, what are you doing for yourself? And they'll do that. And then my question a few weeks ago came to me. I said to them, what relationships are you strengthening? And they were like, you know, because it's all virtual calls, and they were like, what do you mean? I said, it's not strengthening those LinkedIn relationships because you're looking for something. It's simply picking up the phone and asking another person how they are doing, because we can be so caught up in our own, excuse my language, I'm gonna say it, ish shit. We can be so caught up in that that we forget that there's people who don't have a backyard, who don't have a
totally
right near them, and when this weather is crap and it's raining. So it's about I'm like, look, strengthen those relationships. I said, you know what? Because when you get off the phone, you call them and let them speak. And let them tell you how they're feeling and how crap they're feeling. It's something so incredible happens, because you are uplifted, because you knew you were there for someone else. You are altruistic. It is not about us all the time. And I think if you really want to work on that positivity, get out of our own heads and let's look out for the other. That to me is so important. Looking out for the other person.
Yeah, of course.
We should always like look out for others, but I always like tell KK as well, we should know our boundaries.
Oh, 100%.
We should know our boundaries. It's not like giving and giving.
Yeah, that's I'm so glad you said that.
If there are some people out there that they can't be as compassionate as they wish to be because they feel that it's hurting themselves, and it's okay. So it's again back to my initial point, self-awareness in everything in life is so important to know what really makes you your best version. There is no judgment out there. If you cannot cope with certain things or helping others at the same time, there is no good or bad. It's just a matter of knowing yourself
I think there's that balance.
Yeah.
I think, you know, I think, you know, I'm doing a postgraduate and master's right now in coaching, and I forgot what it was like to be a new coach, you know, 5 years ago. And so we were having a supervision call in class, virtual call, and I was listening to my classmates who they're entirely new to coaching. They've not coached people before, and part of this term is to get these 2 coaching clients, and they were talking about how like hard it was. They got off the phone and they were like struggling like to recalibrate within themselves for like 3 and 4 hours. And at first I thought, oh my God, that's so extreme. But then I remembered, oh my God, yeah, that's how it felt. You have all this stuff going on in your head and you're taking on everybody's stuff. And you're right, it is important to know your boundaries and create that. But I think a phone call to if you can just if a person can make it a kind of a daily routine to just pick up the phone and call somebody. And I think that's helpful for oneself as well as for other people, because you might be saving a life. Because it's shocking. I remember some years back, someone, I was in Wilson Luna's entrepreneur program, and one of the gentlemen in that workshop, he ended up killing himself.
Wow.
Right. And the interesting thing was that no one saw it. No one knew it was coming, except for that real tight, and even they didn't know it. And I think the thing was he, you know, we always have this kind of veil quite often on of what we show the world versus, you know, the other sides of us, the whole of us, right? And that's why I say it's good to pick up the phone.
And the other thing just to know is that the one thing about this Corona business is we're actually all in it together. So we're going through it. My friends in Spain are going through it. People that I haven't talked to in years in Italy are going through it. You know, people in America are going through it. Like all across the world, everybody's in the same situation. So we all know it.
Yeah, like you can get through it.
Yeah, so I've actually reached out to more people that I haven't spoken to in years now, because we're all in the same situation. I know everybody's working from home. Everybody's like homeschooling their kids. You know what I mean? It's everybody's in the same boat. Nobody's out there working, you know, out somewhere, because and it's actually a really nice thing to know that, because you know, okay, you have an instant thing you can talk about with people. How are you doing in this situation? How's it going for you? So and
it's interesting. It's like I have my channel is this particular channel is a lot to do with like law of attraction and manifesting, you know, and everything. But I think this was so unusual that people in this community, you know, in that law of attraction community found themselves kind of experiencing something so far different. Like, that's why I say it was hard. It was like, whoa, like you're working on manifesting more money, more job, but now you it's like it was so different. It was so different. And so
this is not anything that was expected.
Right. So it's kind of how do you work through that? And I think for me, it is having that, like you're saying, that meditation, you know, trying to find, you know, that's why I have, I think 3 meditations on my channel. And I created that because it's just a way to just escape and just recalibrate and get on that kind of higher frequency. And I know it's a challenge, you know what I mean? I think probably the greatest, you know, manifestors, people in the law of attraction space, they're all challenged as well. But I think we just all do our best. I'll do our best, right?
Just keep telling yourself that you are capable of doing it. You can do it. Everybody's going through the same. You can do it. And know, as a human, we've got this intense power and energy inside us. It's just switching it up there.
And we're all in it together.
Positives. Look at how can I become stronger? It's a test of resilience, almost tenacity and resilience through these times. That can I even like challenge yourself day to day? Challenge yourself, because that gives you that sense of you're not receiving that through your job.
Yeah.
It a kind of a daily routine for yourself. And what am I going to do at the end of the day?
Yeah.
Did I go through the challenge today? Did I feel better? Did I achieve something?
Yeah.
That again gives you that reward sense that our brain needs. Our brain needs to send you that good feeling hormone. Yes, and have your
serotonin, by the way.
Be proud of yourself. Always tell yourself you're amazing and be proud of yourself.
Yeah.
You have the power to do it.
And we're doing the best that we can. This is like
panic state for being in lockdown. And now I just keep telling myself, I love myself. I've done it.
Yeah, and it's a temporary state. I mean, this, you know, it's not forever. Take advantage of the temporary state that you have. That, you know,
our community, you know, I live in West Sussex, so Horsham, and out my walk, I kind of cut through. I was like, okay, my oat milk wasn't delivered, so I needed to get my oat milk. And I cut through the town, and our town is waking back up. It's coming back to life. We had the guy selling the fresh eggs. He's been there for 20 years. He was back, his family's farm. We had people selling fresh breads. We had people selling fresh produce. And what they were doing, they were kind of taking control of their life again. And wonderful, because people were properly socially distanced.
Yeah, I saw in my town, like cafes I was walking around. I was like, oh my God, there's a bunch of bakeries open. There's a number of small shops open. There's like some restaurants that were closed that were opening up again. Just for delivery.
Nice.
But just for delivery, just for takeout. But still, you can go and get the food where you weren't able to.
I think people are waking up to, we're responsible, we're adults, we can control our behavior. I ran into a friend named Ivan, a workout buddy, and he was like, you know what, it's, you know, I'm going to follow the rules. He goes, you know, most of us are following rules. So, you know, it's about just follow the kind of the social distance as much as you can. You have to, you know, wear your mask, your gloves, whatever.
Yeah.
If we can get some normalcy, I think that's going to be so much better for people's mental health.
I mean, the truth is, we're going to come out of this completely different than we went into it. We're going to come out
dreaming.
What's that?
I still feel like this is the strangest dream.
It's a strange dream, but I don't think we're ever going to be the same. I mean, we are definitely going to come out of it more careful, more scared.
More grateful as well.
And if we see the positive, then more grateful too.
Yeah, for the simple things in life we had easy access to, and I personally always took it for granted.
Yeah.
I thought it's always given to me. But now I even appreciate, I'm sure when everything goes back to normal, I will appreciate and I will be so grateful for every simple thing in life. I never saw it as a blessing. I never saw it as a kind of really a gift. For me, it was given. I have it. But now it honestly feels like I have been sentenced to like 7 to 8 weeks imprisonment. And then
all of us
out, I will see everything as a gift, not given to me. I will see them, oh my God, there are gifts. Every simple thing in life, even going to a cafe.
I know.
Nice.
I swear, what I miss the most is sitting outside in a cafe in the sunshine. That is literally my favorite thing to do on like a Saturday or Sunday, or just like going for a walk with my kids.
Just to be able to go to an airport, get a holiday, or the things that I felt excited for in life.
Yeah.
But it was never like a gift to me. I was always like, no, it's given. I can do it.
Yeah.
If I work hard, if I save enough. It's gonna be mine.
Yeah. My thing is like I think what I've learned and really I've appreciated my money in a different way. Before it was I had to have every season, you know, I love my shopping, I love my cute things. Every season I'd have to buy and spend. Lately it's like, okay, well, I've got a couple YouTube channels, I've got this new business. It's like, you know, I'm going to actually invest in myself business wise. I've got a closet full of beautiful things to wear.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I love my things.
No, but me too. I actually did with my older daughter has been trying to convince me to clean through my wardrobe for freaking years. Like my two daughters go through their stuff all the time and like, I don't like this anymore. Give this away to charity. throw this away, blah, blah, blah. And recently, one of our family friends has said, oh, she said her sister was bringing stuff to these Syrian refugees, and they need, it's a shelter for women and children, and they need clothes for women and children. So I'm like, okay, what a great opportunity, because I love it when my stuff goes to somebody that I actually will appreciate and not just to a dump somewhere. You know, like, what a great opportunity. Let's go through my stuff. And I have gone through my wardrobe with my older one. And I was so into it, by the way, that at some point she's like, I'm getting really tired of going through your wardrobe. And I got really into it. So I went through the rest of my wardrobe. I have gone through every single, it took me like more than a week to go through.
How many bags did you do this time? How many bags did you do?
We had so many bags. We brought like 4 bags last time, and we're bringing another 3 big bags. I used bigger bags this time. And it's actually really refreshing. I'm just like, oh my God, I forgot I have that. So I can go like shopping in my closet now, because now the things in my closet are actually things that I like to wear. And everything that I don't want, I've now put in the giveaway pile. And it's kind of refreshing. It's like, you're like, oh, I can breathe. I don't need to buy more stuff.
Right.
And my daughters ended up taking some of my stuff, because they're like, this is like vintage, mommy.
Perfect.
So for them, my clothes is vintage. I love that.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah.
Like, why? That's 90s. That's 90s, girl. You got that.
Vintage.
She loves
Could you
it.
imagine?
And it's cut, jigged and stuff like that. I think that's really good. I think I was speaking to our friend Ken today, and he's been really interested in online shopping. I was telling him about your online business that you'd had before, and he's been making notepads. I think like the good thing that's kind of come through this, especially for people that are self-employed, is that, or you're kind of like me, I'm self-employed, but I'm tied to an organization. Mm-hmm. So my business comes through that organization. It's okay. Now I've been a professional coach for 5 years. It's now time to really branch out and start really taking ownership of my income, instead of being very dependent upon organizations to fund that. And it's like, I've always been a natural born teacher and trainer and everything like that. So now it's about, I've been putting together a new Facebook page and really branding. I have a book that I've done, and I'm going to update the book, but it's all about creating something that's mine and that is more sustainable.
Amazing.
And I think that's important too. So there's been a lot of learnings from this.
Yeah.
Amazing. Personal level, self-development, improvement, self-discovery. For me, the gift was self-discovery. That I am capable of facing, embracing my biggest fears in life, and becoming a stronger out of it. Last night we were saying that she never imagined that I would be where I am now.
Really?
Yeah. Oh my God. And she was the rebel. She was rebelling. She couldn't.
Yes.
She needed to see people.
Yeah.
And and so that was challenging. And so to see her kind of settle into being okay with herself, because it's not about following a rule in our home. That wasn't it. It's about being okay and accepting where you're at, being able to be present and being at peace with that.
Yeah.
Right. And I think like I said, it's like a mental health thing. It's like when you're having these anxieties, it's like, okay, well, where's this coming from? It's like, you've got to accept where you're at, accept where you're at in order to flourish, in order to hear. I say it's kind of like hearing what maybe the universe is trying to tell you.
Exactly. What's the message of this whole, I still think there's a bigger picture to all of this. And there's a reason for all of this. I mean, I do think there's a reason.
I don't know what it is.
And everybody has their theory.
I really didn't need to learn. I didn't need it to come this way.
But there are a few really good things that have happened.
I'm happy that I learned. I never wanted it to happen.
Yeah.
Now that it's happened, I am so happy that I have got this experience about myself. I now know myself better.
Yeah.
That I have got the capability, the power to overcome fears.
Yeah.
Keep pushing it, and just because neurologically every 21 days you create a new pathways in your brain cells, and you have it. So you have to just like push yourself for 21 days only.
Yeah.
And
I always tell people
changes into transforms slightly into positivity. So
yeah.
learning for me was just like the biggest gift.
Yeah.
That
it's still going.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But we are in a place of peace and acceptance, using your own words. So we are just like at peace with it.
Yeah. And even like for me, accepting, you know, my daughter, they didn't have to do GCSEs this year. And as you know, me writing that, you know, I'm about education, and that was a big challenge too. And then kind of learning that my daughter was very okay with this. There's a lot of, she had put in the 2 and 3 years of hard grind, and you know, as a teenager, it's up and down and everything. It doesn't matter how great your child is in school, whatever, they will face their own challenges and difficulties as they're growing up. But I think one of the nice takeaways from this is to trust my daughter.
Yeah.
Trust that this is her life and she's chosen to be on this earth at this time. And to just kind of go with that. And when I'm going into that overbearing mother moments, you know, because it's what we do. You know, with what we do. Yeah. It's like, okay, hold on. And I'm very much aware and much more alerted, even more than I find myself, I've evolved, but continuous evolvement, and having her at home, because as you know, she's in boarding school. It's only 2 miles down the road, because the overbearing mother had to move closer.
But thank goodness. But imagine if you hadn't. Thank goodness you did. You have this beautiful house when you used to have like a 2-bedroom flat. Yeah. That was tiny with no backyard. Do you know what I mean? Like now you have this gorgeous house with a backyard. Yeah. You know, a flatmate. It's like for the same price as you were paying for your flat.
It was for the whole thing.
Yeah. Exactly.
The flat.
Yeah, everything. I mean, like you're
the same as the rent in London.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. So you're basically saving money, and you're getting nature, and you're in a gorgeous town. I mean, I loved your town. I almost bought something in your town.
It's gorgeous, and the neighborhood people are so amazing.
Yeah.
This morning I did a 10 a.m. met with 3 other women and a fitness instructor that is now a friend, and he was like, I'm doing 10 a.m. workout. So
amazing.
We were like more than 2 meters apart.
Right. Yeah, that's great.
Because he had like little stations, and we just had to bring our yoga mats, and we're doing the burpees, and we're doing this and that.
Amazing.
Fantastic for half an hour. And I met 3 women that I did not know that are literally around the corner. And
you know, you're new friends.
Yeah, so
next time you'll wake up early and you'll go with her too, Shiva.
Certain things I don't know if they're gonna change.
I've gotten to love Amazon Prime, by the way. I don't know if you guys have Amazon Prime.
Yes.
And Amazon Prime, like, this is my new favorite thing. Every single day, every single morning, I do a workout on Amazon Prime. Every single morning.
Oh.
And it's free.
I didn't know that.
If you have Amazon Prime, every single workout is free. You go and you search for the workouts you want. You go to the search function and you say, like I did, today was my weights day. So I said weights. Yesterday I wanted to do a dance workout. So I said dance. Some days I go for a run in the park. So that, like that's I do like every other day now. So today's weights, tomorrow I'm going to go for a run in my park. Yeah, so go and like search up the weights, whatever workout you want to do. And luckily I had actually stocked up on weights. Like right now the weight, you can't even, some of the weights you can't buy anymore, because I went looking for heavier weights because I kind of like needed heavy ones now because I'm working out so much. And it's like you can't even buy like weights, or they've overpriced weights now because everybody wants to work out at home. Yes. But you can do on Amazon Prime, you can do HIIT workouts. I did a HIIT workout yesterday.
I did not know
everything. Yeah, everything. It's amazing. Seriously, it's such an amazing thing.
We got a big TV.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah, Italian.
As long as you have space for it to work
out.
Just
go to Amazon Prime.
Yep.
We do.
And you go to the search.
And then what do we do? Workout.
Yeah, and you go to the word. Do you have a smart TV?
Yeah. Okay, so it's just like almost like a video.
Yeah, it's a video. On your TV versus on like a little computer. Because I mean, you can go on YouTube, but it's just so much easier on Amazon Prime.
27-inch, but it's in my bedroom.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I mean, it's just like there's so many ways to work out. Not exercising is not anyone's excuse. No one can say they don't have time to exercise anymore. And like one of the things that I've definitely seen, I've been in the park. I've said this, and a lot of the teachers in my school who are really into working out as well have said, like, they have seen more people walking in the park, people that look like they haven't walked in the park like for a very long time, you know, walking in the park now. You see lots of people out just walking because
and partners, you know, husband and wife and children.
Yeah.
It's like today's Saturday, it's another good day. And I'm out there I was out there probably from about 11. So the class is 11:45 or so. And it was just so lovely to see these men with their kids and their wives or partners, whatever they are. I mean, loads. And it's just like, and I was thinking to myself, we want this to end because we don't want people to die. But the flip side of it is that people have gained so much by those family connections, bonding. And it's like, I'm thinking all those kids, you know, like some of the kids don't get their dad until like right before bedtime at nighttime. And when you live outside of the city, you know, I'm on the train sometimes I take like the 7:04 a.m. train, and all those dads and moms are on the trains, and I'll hear people talking to their kids. Okay, I love you. You know, so it's a shame like that people will lose out on that. But
you know, for kids as well, because of this modern day and age, that everything was technology based. Kids were mostly just on their tablets, on their phones, playing games.
Yeah.
And almost being traveling back in time. When we were a child growing up, we spent so much quality time with parents, going out in nature, just having some actual human interaction.
Exactly.
So another positivity of this lockdown is that we almost as if moved back in time. We are now having that real human interaction, especially for children, to see the love bonding between the parents, between the people they are, and going into nature rather than just constantly in four walls just checking tablets, games, and everything.
And supposedly with people being out so much less now, the pollution in London has reduced to kind of all-time low. So it's amazing. So let's do some quick takeaways because we've been on for a while. So quick takeaways for people, some tips. So the tips from what I heard from you guys are: 1, get out there in nature.
Yes.
2, talk to people. So get in touch with people. So this is like, even if you're on your own, you can do this. Go and talk to people, either people, you know, bond with the people that you have around you, or talk to the people, you know, talk to people anywhere in the world. You can talk to people. 3, figure out what you're capable of and take baby steps. Face your fears and take baby steps to get to the place that you want to be.
Amen.
Those are the 3 key. Is there anything else that I forgot that you think is important for people to know?
Don't judge yourself throughout this time.
Be kind to yourself. Okay.
Be kind. Always
be kind to yourself. That's a good one, actually.
Yeah. You know, and even if you're stuck in an apartment or what have you, you know, you're still, you know, you're still allowed to go out and get some exercise. And even if you live in the concrete jungle, as we call it in LA, the roads are going to still be so light. You won't, you know, unfortunately, a lot of people won't be out, but you will be able to get just some fresh air in the city that you probably never got. There's really no excuse to allow yourself to get really low. And I keep about mental health because I have suffered with that for years, but you know, it's knowing, you know, call your people.
And for the people that live in countries like Spain and Italy, even Israel, and other countries like that, where they actually are not allowed to go out to exercise. So we're lucky we can go out to exercise, but there are some countries where they have said, no, you can only go out for like a medical appointment or for grocery shopping. So for those countries, still no excuse, because there's Amazon Prime. And if you don't have Amazon Prime, because you're maybe, who knows, maybe in Israel or wherever, there's YouTube, there's everywhere you can find a workout. Everywhere.
You can use that time for grocery shopping as rather than driving there, just as exercise. Just walk to the grocery
Take every opportunity to get outside as much as you can. Or to get exercise.
Something out of it, achieve something.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. And KK, please, can you write the link? Can you put the link to your video?
Right now. Hold on a second. I'm
gonna wait, and I'm gonna wait for your link. And so it's gonna be a link at the bottom to your video that we will post alongside this when we do the newsletter. And that that's it. That's the video. Fantastic, guys. Thank you so much, and so wonderful to meet you, Sheena.